What's going on, guys? Hope you guys are having a great morning. And if you guys can take a look behind me, I actually have my rear lip set up. Now this is the Modulo rear lip. I did get it off of No Way Jose. In case any of you are wondering, because I know I'm gonna have messages and comments afterwards asking me where I got this lip from. Unfortunately, I don't know where you can buy it online. The best place I would probably search is eBay. Other than that, you have to go on Instagram and look for a JDM seller. I'm pretty sure you'll find one quickly. But other than that, before I install this rear lip, I actually have to run to the store real quick. I need to buy some crazy glue because when I got this lip repainted, they took off the seal, which is this one right here. They took it off and I need to put it back on. So I didn't go get that. And on top of that, I need to go get some coffee because it's pretty early in the morning. And you guys know I drink a lot of coffee. But other than that, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you guys are new. But other than that, let's get started. Alright guys, I just made it back home. I picked up a couple things real quick. I'll show you. First thing I picked up is the crazy, or actually it's not crazy glue, it's Gorilla Glue. It comes with a little brush, so hopefully it should be helpful in putting in that lining. Second most, I got a drill bit, or a little drill bit, yeah. I don't know if this is the right one, but if you guys take a look, I'm gonna need to sort of drill these in. Drill a hole for these to fit in. And then lastly, I got this right here. It's for the jigsaw I have. I don't have anything else to cut, and I don't know which one I needed. So I'm just gonna test one of these out, make sure hopefully one of these works to cut the bumper. So yeah, I also pulled the cord out, or put it back in backwards. That way I can take the bumper off, because I do need to take the bumper off. Hopefully that should be an easy process. So I'm gonna start off first by gluing that back on, and then once that dries, or once I wait for that to dry, I'm gonna start taking this off. I'm gonna set up the GoPro so you guys can sort of see a time lapse of me doing it. I'll also show you, I'll explain a little bit as I do it. I'm excited, guys, honestly. I also did get my coffee, by the way. I got some frozen coffee from Dunkin's. It's probably one of my favorite. Kind of strong, so if you guys like strong coffee, highly recommend this. So I got that lining back on now, as you guys can see, all around there. It was kind of a pain in the ass to do, but eventually I got it done. I did have to sand down a bit of the paint off just so the glue would stick on. So now that that's on, we're gonna focus on getting that bumper off. I've never taken the bumper off on this car. I don't know how to. So I'm just gonna figure it as I go, to be honest, because that's usually what I do. I just figure it out as I go and hope for the best. So I'm gonna set up the GoPro so you guys can see me take that off, and also explain as I'm doing it in case there are any special bolts you need to take off that you guys need to be aware of. So let's get started. Look, there's a 10mm bolt we're gonna have to take off. I took off the little cap using the flathead, and then I'm assuming that there's a couple more bolts right here. Should be this one right there, that one right there, down there. Should be another one in there, and then we're gonna have just those push pins underneath right there. So I'm gonna take those off real quick, and if I find any more, I'll let you guys know. So as you guys see, the bumper came out pretty easy. It was just held in by a couple bolts and screws, 10mm in the back, followed by one in here and two on the side, and then the two clips on the bottom. So there were two pressure clips, and then after you get all the bolts off, you just pull it. They're held in by these right here, and all I have to do really is just pull these out. So that's pretty much it. So now I'm gonna set up the bumper over there, and we're gonna start cutting into it. So I sort of outlined where I'm gonna be cutting. I sort of put the rear lip on, but of course it doesn't fit because of this hole right here. So basically I outlined where I think I need to cut, which is right there. I'm gonna cut just smaller than it needs to be, that way in case I need to still cut a little bit more, I can still save it, and sort of tape it on there for now. But do the same thing for the other side, and then test fit it, make sure it fits, and then cut all the way. So wish me luck. Okay guys, so I almost have it, as you guys can see, but it's being a pain in the ass. So if you look underneath here real quick, I had to cut out a lot. It was just basically me playing around with it, but see if I can make it brighter. There we go. You guys can see it's still right there. It's still getting caught, so I need to cut a bit more off on this side, and I'll have it just fine on this side. This side is pretty good. Just a little bit more the same, I guess. It's still getting caught in the corner. So I'm just gonna cut off a little bit more right here. And then when that's done, all I have left are just to cut 2 holes or drill 2 holes for those screws to go in, and it'll be done. But man, this thing is a pain in the ass to put on, Jesus. So I'm almost done. There's a lot of cutting going back and forth. Of course, there's no template, at least not that I know of. I just sort of just went for it. But basically what I did was I cut 2 big oval shapes. There was a big piece on the inside that I also cut off. Where'd it go? Oops, not mine. But this is basically what's on the inside. It's like something like this. So I cut it off, and then I continued to cut more. And then I would go back and forth between putting the lip on and then cutting some more off, putting the lip back on, cutting some more off. So eventually I think I got it just right. And then of course I drilled 2 holes in the middle for the screws, drilled another hole right there, and drilled another hole down there. So I think if my calculations are good, that should be pretty much everything. Right now I'm gonna put the lip and everything back on. And before I put it back on the car, I'll show you guys the final product. So stay tuned, and I hope you guys are excited just as much as I am. So I pretty much finished everything up, but there's a tiny problem, to be honest. The fitment is not that great. There's kind of a gap on the back right corner, and I can't seem to get it right. I've been at this for like about 4 hours now, trying to get that gap to close, but I cannot close it, so I'll have to figure something out later, because I need a break now. I've just been at this for too long. But let me show you real quick. So here's a bumper right here, as you guys can see. If you stand far away from it, doesn't look bad, but of course nothing looks bad far away. But this is the gap I'm talking about right here. So all I need to do is just close that, and it'll be great. But that gap, for some reason, I can't close it. And then I got a tiny gap right here as well, which it's the same thing on both sides. So if I close this gap opens. Same thing with this one. If I close that gap right there, a gap here will open. So I need to figure it out. I'm gonna put it back on for now, and then, hopefully clear my head and figure something out later. So let me put that back on real quick, and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright guys, so it's actually the next day, and after playing around with it a bit last night and a bit this morning, I think I got the fitment a little bit better, but it's not perfect. But I was able to get rid of some of the big gaps that I had, so let me show you real quick. So if you guys actually remember yesterday, there was a big gap right there. Well, that gap is now gone. Basically what I ended up doing on this side is I ended up taking up the bolt right here that was attached right there, and then I had to pull everything that way, and I was able to get rid of that gap right there, so it looks a lot better on this side. On the other side, unfortunately, I still have that gap in the corner. I wasn't able to do the same thing on this side, so there's a gap right there. I did fill it with vinyl foam, I believe that's what it's called. Just so, or weather seal, whatever it's called. That way if water goes down there, it won't go all the way in, so it's sort of protected right there. But overall, I don't think it looks bad. I think it looks pretty good overall. But like I said, there's a lot of modification. I know a couple of you were messaging me last night when I posted my picture on Instagram. So if you guys are interested in doing this, and you guys aren't gonna buy the bumper that goes with the Modulo rear lip, which I'm assuming is like a UC1 bumper or whatever, just know that there will be a lot of modification that you will need to do. But other than that, it wasn't too bad. It's just time consuming, so give yourself a lot of time and a lot of patience, because I almost lost it yesterday. But other than that, that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you guys are new, hit the subscribe. And if you guys want to see any more content, just let me know. But other than that, it's pretty much it for me. So I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.